Happy to begin today's edition of News in the Central Region, where the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Paulina Lova-Lyonga, has interrogated Yona Secondary School administrators in a heated session in Yaoundé today. This was in a bid to know what actually transpired between the principal and his student yesterday, March 6. Meanwhile, the student is under police custody, as Central Regional correspondent Colette Lung tells us.
We are in the Yona school premises where 19-year-old student stabbed principal April 6 for confiscating his sweater on April 4. Speaking to some of the students, they explain what transpired.
We
had the screams, and before we went out, he had stabbed the principal. He was calm and quiet. This is the first time he went into such anger.
Vient de blesser le principal.
Lundi, l'élève est arrivé à l'école après le rassemblement avec son
He came with his mother and the teachers were rude to the mom. So a day later, our classmates came with a knife and we heard screams and we jumped out. We saw a pool of blood after he stabbed the principal, and the principal was rushed to the hospital. I'm certain it is the ill manner in which the teacher spoke to his mom that angered him that much to do this act.
Et de mon point de vue, je crois bien que c'est ça qui a poussé l'élève à agir de la sorte.
In a heated interrogation between the Minister of Secondary Education and the school administration, including the school proprietor, the minister fished out a lot of loopholes in this institution. Not only have the school proprietor not met with the norms of this establishment required of a secondary school put in place by government, the school is equally plagued with increased crime rates like drug abuse, sexual abuse. We discover cases of teachers and some students practicing sexual violence in this establishment with drug abuse, which needs to be looked into. Yona School, going by Minister Nalova, has issues with discipline, absence of staff room, playground with 93 teachers for 700 students in a very tight, unclean and unsafe environment.
I approach the premises immediately. It tells me that this should not exist. I look at the justified conditions of your existence.
The school representatives put up defensive arguments regarding the loopholes pointed out by the minister in collaboration with the gendarmerie of Fon Quinter, where the school is situated. This student was stubborn. He has been facing disciplinary counsel, but his mother is always coming and supporting his actions. The father is always absent in this disciplinary because he was angry with the poor attitude of his son. Why the mom? Minister Nalova says the school may be shut down after deliberations with her team.
While we are deliberating on the case, I want you to follow this close collaboration so that things should go on well.
I'll do everything to see into it that my school meets all with the norms required by government. Please do not shut it down. Meanwhile, the principal is still alive and presently receiving treatment in the hospital where the minister later made her final stop. This situation would therefore serve a lesson for other schools to step up their disciplinary measures.
Now, a policy dialogue roundtable discussion on expanding the quality of air care in the Northwest region indicates a rise in the number of persons suffering from hearing disorder. So many factors account for this increase, as Akeba tells us.
A policy roundtable discussion on expanding access to quality ear and hearing care in the Northwest region held April 6, 2022 at the Baptist Center in Bamenga. The initiative by the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services coming at a time recent reports from health officials indicate a rise in number of persons suffering from hearing loss, attributing the situation of the region with the current socio-political crisis, gunshots, loud noise from explosives and others. Professor T. Pius Murphy, director of the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services, warned the figure to hearing impairment may rise further if the insecurity persists, said the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services Ear Health Services has grown to an independent service with the desire to expand to other regions in the country.
To prevent hearing loss and rehabilitation of those with irreversible impairments require a number of public health measures to be put in place.
In line with World Hearing Day 2022, to hear for life, listen with care, the policy dialogue engaging key regional stakeholders to Dr. Neville Bonku, an ENT surgeon, described the ear as sensitive to external objects which can provoke hearing impairment.
They do cutting. Some people also do cocks of pens and all that. That is very dangerous, and it can really destroy the ears mechanism. And we have had a lot of patients coming from the communities, coming from, with various educational backgrounds who still carry out all these practices.
Tata said Godwill, coordinator of the Ear and Hearing Project, said his institution is empowering its personnel with skills to handle hearing loss. Disclose the population will benefit from subsidized prices of hearing aid.
In a hearing aid which should have cost maybe a cost of about $1 million, in the pilot phase we're providing for 50,000 to the people. And we have great testimonies of people who have gone to school, a student, a child who has been going to schooling for 10 years and learning sign language, but with a hearing aid, the child is hearing.
To this, the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services, with the support of CBM, launched the Hearing Care Project, enhance quality of hearing and prevention in Cameroon.
Some administrators of the Ngaundwe Central Prison have been awarded epaulettes in recognition to the services they render. This was during a ceremony presided over by the Regional Delegate of Penitentiary Administration for the Adamawa region. Get details in the following report. In recognition to their services rendered to the state within the framework of protecting Cameroonians, their property and territorial integrity, some prison administrators at the Ngaundwe Central Prison have been awarded epaulettes and medals. This was during a ceremony at the ceremonial ground of the Ngaundwe Central Prison, chaired by the Regional Delegate of Penitentiary Administration, Fongo Divine Titakuna.
They always say that more the results for good work is more work. That is why they have been added this rank. And I equally told those who were not promoted this time that they should not fall apart. They should continue to work hard, because as they say, each person has a time to pass before the barber. So since they were not promoted this time, they continue to work. Next time they will have their own share. Then most importantly, I talk about this synergy. That is this synergy between the public and private sector, because the problems that exist inside the prison cannot be solved only by the penitentiary administration.
During the ceremony, he called on Cameroonians of goodwill to visit prisons and empower some inmates.
We are calling on religious authorities. We are calling on associations that you should come and join us in this mission of transforming prisoners through the creation of little enterprises that will help these prisoners to change. We have enterprises inside here like hairdressing. We have enterprises here like tailoring. Why can we not even create a fish pond here that can raise revenue and help prisoners, so that when they leave the prison, they should have a gainful job and they should not come back to the prison?
He further highlighted the need for all to join efforts for a smooth functioning of prisons.
It's a sign to show that the prison is not a home for somebody. It's just a place to pass. If the head of state can think of prisoners to release them, it means their place is not in the prison, it's outside. So we should join our initiative to make the prison function very well.
Happiness was evident on the faces of recipients who promised to double their efforts. The heavily attended ceremony was crowned by a military parade and award of bouquets by family members. In the Southwest region, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Fako East constituency, Honorable Findi Stanley Mokondo, has presented the water and electricity crisis of his constituency. This was during the March parliamentary session as our Fako-based correspondent Moki Regan tells us.
Water, a necessity to human life, has become a scarce resource to inhabitants of Limbe, chief town of Fako division of the southwest region of Cameroon. Inhabitants of Limbe feel neglected and abandoned due to the absence of water in their areas. Some take the risks just to walk very far distances in search of water.
Taps are really scarce, so if we don't fetch water from the stream, we won't be able to do all of the chores we have at home, because most of the chores we do needs water.
It is in this light that a representative of the people of Fako East constituency, Honorable Findi Stanley Mokondo, voiced the worry of his people at the parliamentary session on the 28th of June 2021.
Mr. Minister, on the 28th of June 2021, in this same hemicycle, I drew your attention to the urgent need for appropriate solutions to the persistent water shortages across the towns of Limbe, Tiko, and Muyuka. I went further to inform you of quarters in Limbe with more than 2,000 inhabitants that are still to have access to potable water.
And the March 2022 parliamentary session is another opportunity for Honorable Findi Stanley Mokondo to press on.
Mr. Minister, it's exactly 9 months since my intervention, and the situation has moved from bad to worse with the present cholera epidemic within these areas. But I think if certain issues and dispositions were taken beforehand, the people of Limbe would have not been experiencing what they're experiencing today. Because the city of Limbe is endowed with water potentials.
As at the moment, the people of Limbe still live in hope and being optimistic that in less than no time their cry will be heard, as recommendation of the water crisis in Limbe was presented to the minister by Honorable Findi Stanley Mokondo.
Mr. Minister, inasmuch as we are aware of the fact that urgent measures are being taken by your ministry to ensure that the people of Limbe have water, potable water, don't you think catchments, water catchments like those in Mukunda, Bwando village and Mile 4, if well developed, can increase supply of potable water in Limbe?
Meanwhile, the constant seizure of electricity in Tiko subdivision is a call for concern, which Honorable Findi Stanley drew the attention of the minister.
People of Tiko, with hundreds of thousands of population, are suffering with the absence of electricity. What are the appropriate measures that you think or that your ministry has taken to ensure that Tiko can be connected with electricity, with constant electricity supply? I will wish to draw your attention. I don't know if you took note. During the visit to Tiko, there was no power supply in Tiko.
The population of Tiko subdivision called on the government to come to their aid and remedy the electrical situation in Tiko subdivision.
World Health Day is a global health awareness day celebrated every year on April 7 to raise awareness about ongoing health issues that concern people across the world. The day is used as an opportunity to spread awareness about the overall health and well-being of human beings. Bokengo Worthy completes the story.
More than 13 million deaths around the world are directly attributed to avoidable environmental causes such as malnutrition, poor living environment, air pollution, contaminated air, lack of potable drinking water, inadequate health personnel, poor health services, bad and unequipped health facilities, and many more.
Today, more than half of the world's population lacks access to essential health services, and almost 100 million people are pushed into extreme poverty every year because of the costs of paying for care out of their own pockets. This outrage must end.
Celebrated yearly every April since 1972, World Health Day aims to bridge the gap between poor health services and healthy living, most especially through the World Health Organization's universal health coverage that promotes equal health services, treatment for all in need.
The World Health Organization was founded in 1948 on the conviction that health is a human right to be enjoyed by all people, not a privilege for the few. 70 years later, that conviction is as strong as ever. Nobody should get sick and die just because they are poor or because the services they need are too far away. Universal health coverage is more than just health insurance. Universal health coverage is more than just health care. It means ensuring people can get quality health services where and when they need them without suffering financial hardship.
Following this year's theme for World Health Day that states, "Our planet, our health," it is worth noting that
UHC doesn't only improve health, it reduces poverty, creates jobs, spurs inclusive economic growth, and increases gender equality. Strong health systems, based on the foundation of primary care, are also the best defense against outbreaks and other health emergencies. UHC and health security are truly two sides of the same coin.
Worth mentioning is the fact that good health is central to human happiness, overall well-being, as it helps foster significant economic growth by a strong and healthy population who are happy and united in promoting healthy, safe, and quality living for all.
Still on health, fibroids is an illness said to be dangerous yet highly neglected by women, despite its negative effect on them. Considering that its symptoms are not manifested, in majority of cases attention should be given. Center Regional Correspondent Colette Lum caught up with the medical doctor who throws more light.
Fibroids are non-cancerous growths in the uterus that can develop during a woman's childbearing years. The causes of fibroids going by medics are estrogen and progesterone, two hormones that stimulate uterine lining, which occur during each menstrual cycle in preparation for pregnancy and appear to promote the growth of fibroids. Statistics reveal that over 80% of women have fibroids, though most women have no symptoms. The symptoms and signs of fibroids are enormous, which includes anemia, heavy period, according to medics.
The anemia. Another symptom can be abdominal pain. Depending on the size or the position of the fibroid, you may outright have pain in your abdomen from the fibroids. You can also have a protruding abdomen or a belly that looks like you're pregnant even when you're not. And because of the position of the womb or the uterus where the fibroids are, you can get other symptoms like urinary symptoms. If, for example, you have a fibroid that's pushing on your bladder, then you may find yourself...
Though the effect of fibroids includes difficulties in getting pregnant, there are treatments.
Have medical treatment or surgical treatment, a procedure. Some medical treatments include hormonal therapy, such as birth control pills, intrauterine devices or IUDs, also some hormone rings like a Nuva ring. These things can help to shrink the size of the fibroid and also to decrease the heavy bleeding, which can help to prevent you from having the anemia.
However, medics say if a person has fibroids and have no symptoms or signs, then treatment is not needed.
Away from health, let's talk education. And it was a busy day at the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIBMAT, as they held the 2022 defense session for HND second batch. To this effect, friends and tutors came out in their numbers to show support to the students. Miriam Gaket completes the story.
This honorable member of the jury will urge you to take it as serious as possible and equally to be as relaxed as ever before.
It is in these words that the president of the jury, Deyab Gafrit, launched the 2022 defense session for the Higher National Diploma Batch students of the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIBMAT, this day, 7th of April 2022, in the premises of its Douala campus located at Carrefour Yorojos. A total number of 27 students from different fields of study, banking and finance, accountancy, transport and logistics, human resource management, engineering, marketing, stood in front of friends, family, teachers, corporate bodies, and supervisors from tutor schools to present the results of the works carried out during their months of internship.
We want to acknowledge that this is an academic exercise, and it is done in partial fulfillment for the award of the higher national diploma in their respective disciplines. And the school has been instructed by the ministry to set up juries, and it is this jury that is going to evaluate the students in their respective field of knowledge to ascertain whether they meet the requirement for the award of an nation.
The academic exercise, though tedious, left a greater majority of them satisfied of the work done and support provided by the school.
As a student of this field of study, logistics and transport management, my topic was focused on the challenges faced by translations in the handling of clinical. At the end of this internship today, my grade was very good, and I'm so proud of it. It was not an easy task, but finally I succeeded. So all thanks to God and my supervisor, my teachers. I thank all of them.
I defended a report on the impact of stress on employees' performance. Case of victims were completed at times of back It was tense, the atmosphere was somehow stressful, but it was good.
Hibmat House is slogan as Hibmat family. So in this Hibmat, people are being treated like family members. And now it offers high quality education. So I advise members to come to this prestigious institution.
In its drive to achieve academic excellence, Hibmat has created a safe haven for education, allowing students to fully explore their capacities.
First of all, Hibmat stands for the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology. It is a university institute for professional excellence and innovation. And this university is mentored by 2 state universities. We have the University of Bamenda that mentors all the professional fields of studies, and we have the University of Goya, which mentors the other fields of studies. Our curriculum or our academics is structured in a way that the teaching is meant to enable the students to adapt themselves in a professional world.
This has gone a long way in helping the staff and management in achieving its vision and goals.
We are out to see how we can work in line with the heads of state's vision of making Cameroon an emerging nation. And with this, we try to use our existing resources and potentials to modernize the economy of Cameroon and put it on the right path for globalization and urbanization.
As they say, education is the passport for the future, but tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Hibmat, with campus in Boya and Douala, is leading in the move, and from the look of things, will not stop.
And justice has finally been made for the assassination of Thomas Isidore Sankara, Burkinabe military officer, Marxist revolutionaries and Pan-Africanist president of Burkina Faso. Get full details in the following report with Nsah on our Africa News Update.
We begin our tour of Africa in Sudan, where thousands of Sudanese demonstrated against the government on streets in the capital city and several parts of the country on Wednesday. The protesters reportedly marched against last October's coup of General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan that plunged the country into a serious political and economic crisis. It is worth highlighting that in the capital, Khartoum, the security forces fired tear gas against demonstrators. For the record, April 6 marks the anniversary of 2 revolts in 1985 and 2019, which at 34 years apart have brought down 2 coup presidents. Note here that inflation in the country has reached over 250%, with the price of bread, electricity, and fuel soaring since the coup. The United Nations estimates that nearly half of the 45 million Sudanese will face food insecurity by the end of this year. Elsewhere, the Somali region of Somaliland on Wednesday launched an international appeal for $2 billion to urgently deliver humanitarian and livelihood support. The appeal, which comes after a huge fire destroyed the main market in the capital, Nsah, wiping out an estimated 5,000 small, medium, and large family businesses, has left the local economy in ruins. The president of Somaliland, Musa Bihi Abdi, says the fire had caused losses amounting to $2 billion, or around 60% of the country's gross domestic product. In 2020, its GDP was just over $2.9 billion, shrinking 3.1% from the previous year, largely due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, as per official figures. Over in Burkina Faso, reactions are streaming in following a military court ruling in the country on Wednesday that handed down a life term to former President Blaise Compaoré over the 1987 assassination of revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara. Applause was sounded in the courtroom as the long-awaited verdict was read out, bringing down the curtain on a case that has afflicted the improvised and volatile state for 34 years. It is worth highlighting that Thomas Sankara's widow, Mariam, was also present during the ruling. She hailed the verdict as true justice. Also, one of the prosecution lawyers, Prosper Farama, as well smiled at the verdict. Note here that the court also issued life terms to Hyacinthe Kafando, an officer suspected of having led the hit squad, and General Gilbert Diendere, an army commander at the time of assassination, which coincided with the coup that brought Compaoré to power. However, ex-President Blaise Compaoré lives in exile in Ivory Coast after being toppled by public protests in 2014, and Kafando has been on the run since 2016. Their trial and sentencing were done in absentia.
Eileen semester on the African continent ends today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime Television. Coming up immediately after the news is Prime Hour with Kum Leonard and his team. My name is Fon Quinter. I'll meet again tomorrow for another edition of news. Have a great evening in the company of more programs on the African Eye. Bye.